Hello, this is All Rats with Lesson009. Actually, it may not be Lesson009. I'm not quite sure yet. I'll explain what I'm doing. First off, you've noticed that the diagram is a little different. I'm using what they call the Nemesis version of interface, version 5.00 Clarity, and this is to log me into FICS, F-I-C-S, or the free internet chess server. And I chose this server to do what I'm going to do today because I'm going to do a lot more of it. I'll explain. Free internet chess server is free for everybody, so there's no excuse for you not to belong if you want to participate in the activity that I'm going to do. Okay, so I can show you anything and everything, and I will show you anything and everything with my lessons, but I do have an endless supply of material. So some of the things I'd like to show, I'm not going to be able to show, but maybe I can do a little bit more if I do this new project that I'm just undertaking today. And there's going to be a lot more of this. It'll be a separate category to supplement my lessons. For those of you that have time to look beyond the lessons, I'm making every resource possible I can think of to help your game improve. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm really not into playing chess anymore. I'm more into teaching, but I've kind of decided what I need to do is actually play and record some live games. And if I do that, then I can explain my thought process as I go. I'm kind of new at this. I've tested it just a few times. I haven't shared those yet. But I did some blitz games, and really I'm not a great blitz player, and after looking at the video, all the video is real nice. Just the number of errors I was making, missing just simple tactics and simple things, it just bothers me. I don't like sharing chess like that, and most blitz chess is flawed chess because you're reacting mostly on impulse and patterns and so forth, and you get a bad game against a good player and your game goes bye-bye really quick. So although blitz advocates that are really good at it will stick with it, they're really not going to get really good at chess unless they already are and are just playing it for recreation. As I've said before, the grandmasters play it for fun, for relaxing, and mainly to test out new openings. And everybody else says, oh, if the grandmasters do it, it must be good for my chess. Well, blitz chess isn't going to help your chess in the long run. You may get pretty good if you're in time pressure in a real over-the-board game, but overall it's not going to help because you're not sitting down and planning and thinking. So I could make this a long standard game, but then this video would last 2 or 3 hours, and who wants to watch that? So what I'm going to do is be playing a time control of 15-0. That's still a little too fast for what I prefer, but I should be able to avoid a lot of my silly mistakes that I tend to make in blitz chess, and at the same time have plenty of time to still give a reasonable lecture here. Okay, so a little bit more. Here's my ground rules. What I'm going to do, I haven't logged on yet, but I will log on. And when I'm ready to log on, I will immediately issue a seek for a 15-0 game. 15 minutes with a 0 increment. First come, first serve. Whoever clicks my seek gets to play me. Now, I'm not going to accept challenges. I'm not going to say when I'm going to show up here. So if you want to try to arrange a game with me, I'm kind of against that. I'm just going to go random because I want it to be fair for all. I mean, I know some of you want to play me, but let's just go with it this way. I try to be fair to everybody because everybody's equal. You're all my equal students, okay? So no preference here. Just show up, look for my seek, boom. If you get it, if you're the lucky one, you'll get it. I can't promise you'll get it, but anyway, my practice will be to, if somebody wants a rematch, I will give them one, but I really don't want to play more than 2. This way the videos won't last long. I could divide them up. I don't know what's going to happen here on this first test run once I get it going. But what's my plan here? How am I going to do this? And I'll try to explain my methods just beforehand. Okay, as white, although I've played just about every opening there is under the book in my career, I've kind of taken attraction to this thing I've mentioned several times, the chess opening for you. Something I've probably played once or twice in my career, but I never seriously adopted it. And since white's first set of moves are pretty much standard, and you just go and play against whatever black decides to play against it, I'm going to try this out because I think it'll be valuable for a lot of you. I was in one discussion with one person about some of my other favorite openings, and really to sit here and teach all the openings as well as I know them, it will just take hours and hours and hours to go through and show you things, and actually white can do much better, I think, at least avoiding a loss if he plays the chess opening for you, because a lot of the openings I play entail some risk, and you can get a bad game if you're not careful. And the chess opening for you at least is safe and solid, because several reasons which we've discussed. You get your pieces out, and there's no real discernible weakness up front. So from that point, I can play this and explain my thought process as we go, and we'll see what happens. You know, I'll win some, I'll lose some, and I'll draw some. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't really care about the result. I care about what I can explain to you in this session as my thought process is explained to you. Okay, now as black, I tend to against the mainline defenses of e4 and d4, as I've explained. I play a Nimzovich defense and I play a Chigorin defense. I imagine eventually these openings will come up, and I'll be able to share a little bit of my ideas and knowledge about those, and explain some of the strategic ideas that black has and that white has, and try to explain the best I can. Now, my last few lessons have stressed on candidate moves, and I'm going to do my best to try to identify 2 or 3, 4 candidate moves in the time, like as quickly as I can, and at least I'll identify the candidate moves and they'll be on record, and there may be some ideas behind it, and I'll say as much as I can in the short time we have, but I still am going to try to do all that and play a reasonable game of chess so that I can demonstrate something. But even if I get a bad game as a result of spending too much time talking, at least I'll be able to save whatever position I have left and go from there. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to play the chess opening for you as white, and as black I'm going to defend against e4 and d4 with the Nimzovich defense and the Chigorin defense. If you want to prepare for those lines against me, fine. I've seen them all, won't surprise me. I'll be happy if you're prepared, because then I can discuss more of the main line theory with them. Anyway, what else? Guess it's just about time to start. I'll log on here in just a moment and put out a seek, and this could be one video depending if the person I play wants a rematch, or it could be 2 videos, but 2 games. We'll just see. I don't know. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to log on, and I can do that pretty easily. Okay, connecting to Fix. Alright, I'm in. Now what I have to do is find out how to seek a game. I've done this before. Seek all. Okay. What we want is a time control of 15 minutes with a 0 increment. And here, I'll show you. Here it is. Okay, so let's see now. Color random. I'm going to play random. I'll play rated. Might as well get a rating, see what I can do with this. I don't care what it ends up. Who cares about a rating on an internet server? Okay, looks like I've got everything there I need. Let's see what happens when I get a game. Oh, good. I got one right now. Okay. And here's the Nimzovich defense. Okay, now what's he going to do? d4 is the main line, but I'm prepared against all the other lines. Okay, d4. Now I play d5. E5 is a move, but I don't play that line. It's a whole different type of thing. Okay, now I play bishop f5 against this. And my next trick is to come up with f6 and start undermining the white center. So in a way, this is like a French defense where black has the bishop out. But the difference is his c-pawn is blocked, and he can't advance it to c5. So you give a little, you get a little. Okay, here's my f6 strategy. Now, some people will play bishop d5 here. I'm not too worried about that move. I may not remember all the theory that I know from this position, but I'll do the very best I can. Okay, he played bishop b5. So now, I think I played e6 in a recent game just to test. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the question to his bishop. And the reason for that is this enables me to get a pawn break on c5 in. Okay, so now I've got control of e5, so he can't drop a knight in there too easily. I'm going to be playing e6. I don't mind accepting a backward pawn on a potential open file. Let's see, e6. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. So if he takes, I take back with the knight on f6, and I'm not too worried about if he drops the knight into e5. Okay, now I get c5 in. Now what's neat about having these double pawns is you get another one in. One pawn can go to c5, then the other. Watch this. Okay, so now pawn takes, and now, he's in trouble, because now I get c5 in, and I think he's going to step into a fork. Okay. So I've got plenty of time, so let me stop and slow down just a little bit and try and discuss my ideas a little bit. Okay, so it's obvious I have d4 here, which seems to win a piece for a couple pawns. If I don't do it, he'll get out of it, so I'll just go ahead and do it, save time on the clock. Okay, now what does he have to counter? Any candidate moves, doesn't look like he really has much. And he's going to be dropping a piece here for a couple pawns. Then I just have to get my king side developed and convert the point. And we'll see if he wants another game after this or not. Okay, he took with the knight, which is fine. Oh, good. Now he's trading queens, so this is fine. I might as well trade queens because I'm going to be a piece ahead and I'll win the ending. So I don't really need to discuss candidate moves there. Okay, so now I've got 2 pawns for the piece. I can pick up the pawn on c2 if I want. It's sitting there for the taking. I see it. What else can I do here? I can attack his bishop with 2 ways. I can play rook d8. I can play f takes e5. Since I'm up at material, really there's no reason to grab the pawn. But then again, you know, it's a pawn. I don't need to worry about any counterattack by white here. My king is safe. His knight has no entry points. d5 and b5 are covered. So I'm just going to go ahead and take it. It's a pawn. I can take it here because I'm not going to get rolled up by some sudden black initiative or white initiative in this position. Okay, so, oh good, thank you. All right, so he took me there. Now my king can just go up to f7 and secure the pawns, and I've got a decisive advantage here. Okay, so him attacking the bishop doesn't really bother me. I want to put the bishop on a square where the knight can't attack it too easily. If I put it on f5, it secures e6. His knight will have to go to e2 and then g3 before he can even attack it. So f5 is a perfectly good square to put it. Okay. Now, granted, I am playing the moves kind of quickly, so it is somewhat of an impulse game. Don't know exactly. Okay, now, it's nice to have the 2 bishops. I don't really need them. What I need is my king to be a little safer. But I'm going to go ahead and put the bishop on d6 simply because I can put the king on f7 next move and then or e7 and guard the bishop if he attacks it, and then get my rooks centered. I may not want a castle here simply because we're close to an end game. It's a very late middle game now. Okay, so bishop d6. So he's being clever. He's attacking a pawn and there's a pin. But I needn't fear that at all. I can just play king f7. Now his knight's loose. Okay. So where's he going to put the knight? He could go back to e3. You could try c7. C7 doesn't really bother me. I'll just attack it. Now what's he have? If I play rook f7 or rook a7, I'm attacking it, and he's got to deal with it. I don't know how he saves that guy. I don't know. What's he do? What am I missing? Okay, so it's just now a matter of consolidating everything, making a few more exchanges, and getting a winning endgame and seeing the game over with. So white could safely resign here if he wanted. He's going to lose. He's going to lose a piece, another piece. He can't afford to lose another piece. Okay, h3. Well, that just gives me the piece, so I'll take it. He could have grabbed a pawn on a6 with it, but that's fine. I'll just make exchanges. I'll either make another exchange and help me, or he'll go attack my bishop. We attack that bishop. I was thinking he might attack the other, but no big deal. I'll just trade a set of rooks. They're there. You know, just beat him on attrition, and I'll just keep my bishop. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to put it on e4 because it can be a very strong piece, and it keeps his rook out of c6. Once the bishop's anchored on d5, he's not moving it, and my bishops will just control the center of the board. So now it's just a matter of consolidating the rest of the game. It's relatively easy. Okay, I don't mind he's attacking it. Like I said, he can't evict it from d5. Now, I'm attacking a pawn, which might as well take it if he gives it to me, which he didn't. So now let's get the rook into play. I'll threaten to put it on the 7th rank, rook c8. So I really don't have to consider a lot of candidate moves in this game. It's just all elementary from here on in. 2 bishops ahead. So rook c2 is coming, and if he's not careful, I'll checkmate him on the back rank. Well, if his rook comes up to d2, I have rook c1 check, and that looks like he has to give the rook back, right? Because I've got g2 and h2 covered. So I'll just stick the rook on the 7th rank. That's as good a square as any. He can't evict it. And then I can play bishop c5 next and start working on f2. Don't even need to queen a pawn here yet. Eventually that's how black will win. We all know that. Eventually you win enough pawns and then you get a pass pawn and promote it. So it's just a question, how long does white want to play out? Well, he just walked into mate. I'm sorry, my friend, but I think you have to give me back your rook. Okay, so his king can't move at all. He has to put the rook back and get mated, or he can resign right here. It's his choice. What do you think he'll do?
Game over.
He resigned. All right, well, thanks for the game. Now, let's see if he wants to give a rematch. If he doesn't want to give a rematch, we have a new game here. Okay. And we'll have a second game to this session. Okay, Adis, you didn't offer one yet. So, okay. Going once, going twice. I'm going to put a seek out. 15-0. Let's see who takes it. Okay. Now we play the chess opening for you. Okay, this player's rated a little higher, so I'll have to take this one a little more seriously, but my opening moves will be pretty easy. Okay, so okay, bishop e6 by him is kind of a weak move. The bishop really doesn't have a lot of scope there. Oh, he wants to trade off the fianchetto bishop. Interesting. Okay, I don't mind when they do that. I really don't. So what I can do is I can play knight g5 here and chase his bishop just to mess him up. But what I'll do is I'll just let him go ahead and do what he wants to do, and I'll get my pieces developed. Okay, so d3, let him come down and take it. I don't mind. Okay, fine. Now I get another move to get my pieces out. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and play what I like to do, play here e4. Let him think about guarding d5 since he's unprotected it. Okay, so good. Now he's got spent a little time getting rid of my bishop. Okay, so now he's got to cover d5. If he doesn't, I'm going to win a pawn. Okay, now we got an open d file, which is fine. And now I'm just going to go about my business and get the rest of my queenside developed. Let's see what he does. Okay, so now he might want to play knight b4. I don't know. d4 is covered. I'm not afraid of knight b4. What I need to do is get my pieces out, as I explained. So I'm just going to I want to play c3. That's my candidate move. The reason I want to play this kind of purely positional, I want to neutralize his dark squared bishop when it fianchettos, and I want to have a little bit of more mobility for my queen, c2 and b3 aside from e2. And yeah, I'm just going to play c3. I have the time to do it because he's behind in development. I don't necessarily want to play knight c3 there. I'm kind of like thinking knight d2 to c4 to e3 kind of plan, along the idea of what you do in the chess opening for you. I may park the bishop on e3 while he's going to sacrifice something. Or not sacrifice something, he's going to try and attack. Now, why give him an attack, okay? I've got time here. I've got plenty of time. So I can play h4 here and just stop his attack cold. And that's what I'm going to do. And I want to show you how to do this. Or show you this idea simply to keep him out. Now queen g5, where's he going? or queen g4. Where's he going? Gee, he's threatening e4. Do I care about that? Okay, I can play queen b3, and if he takes on e4, I can take on b7, or I can well, I can't play knight g5. My pawn will be pinned. Well, I'm going to play knight d2. Then he could castle long, and I'll play queen b3. Now I'm on f7, and let's see. I'm trying to think what I want to do here. I can play knight g5 in this position. That's not a bad move, and I offer to trade queens, and then he can't chase the knight out of g5, and he can't castle long or short because or can't castle long because f7 falls. So knight g5 is a decent candidate move, and I'm relying on just being ahead in development and a solid position. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. This is perfectly logical. It's a good time to go into the ending and or start thinking about an ending. Just cut off his attack where it started from. Now, if he declines a queen trade, then I have queen b3 with some threats. So I think knight g5 was the correct move here. Okay, so what's he going to do? And the knight is anchored on g5. It's not necessarily going to go anywhere, and I can afford to. Okay, well, this is good for me. I don't mind this because I'll just trade queens, and again, he can't evict that knight conveniently. Okay, so I'll play there. Now we got to get our guys out. Okay, so now the pawn on g4 is a weakness, but I'm not really poised to attack it yet. What I need, as I said, is to get my guys out. Now, if I put a bishop on e3, the only way he can counter that is with a knight on c4. But bishop e3, knight e5, I play knight d2, and he can't play knight to c4. But then I can redeploy get my rook out and just figure out a way to push b3 and c4 later. So, like I say, I've got to develop, so I'm going to do that. The bishop to e3 is a fine choice. I'll do that. Bishop e3. Okay, so now I'm going to follow up with knight d2. I'm not saying he'll play knight e5, but it's a move I think about. But if he doesn't play it, I will play knight d2 and knight c4, and work around him. Okay, so knight f6. Now he's not really threatening anything I should worry about, so I'll play knight d2 here. Okay, so I've got a development lead. Now I've got to get a little bit more. So let's see. I don't really want to play a move like f3 here. That would just kind of mess things up. Okay, so he wants to liquidate my knight, I guess. So let him. I'll take back with the pawn, which tempo is knight. So what I need to do in the meantime is secure e4. Now, two ways to do that. I can also take back with the bishop if I play rook fe1. If I play rook ad1, the idea there would be to move my knight next and oppose him on the open file. And see, rook ad1, bishop takes. I take with the bishop. Now he's not really attacking e5, but I'm threatening to mess up his pawns more. I can always play rook e1 at some point too to guard e4, but I don't really need to guard anything. I need to oppose his pieces and make exchanges because he's got some problems in this position strategically. Okay, so rook ad1. Don't think he really wants to take on g5. I could just take with the pawn and mess his game up a little bit. I have to go into an ending here. Okay, I've got 10 minutes left, so that's plenty of time to move. Okay, b6. I don't mind that move so much. Okay, if I play knight c4, that keeps him out of e5, and he's just wasted a move. He goes back and plays b5, because I can just take on d8 and then swing the knight back to a3 and be on his pawn. So I'm just going to play knight c4, I think. Let's see, knight c4, and knight c4, he takes my knight on g5, and e4 is hanging. Okay, no problem. So let's see. Do we have any tricks here? Okay, this is the time when I'm going to play rook e1. Okay, I'll just play solid here. So maybe I lost a move with rook d1. Okay, now he played knight e4, but he's not really threatening anything. He can't go into c4. So what I'm going to do is make sure he can't go into c4, and I'm going to play the pawn to b3. That frees my knight. Now he has knight d3, but I'm not too worried about that because I'll just move my rook. Okay, so b3 keeps him out of c4. Okay, not worried about him putting a knight on f3. If he's not careful, I'll just play a move like bishop g4. And like I say, I'm not bishop d4. I'm not worried about the knight to d3. Although in some lines, this knight on d2 could be pinned, but I'm not worried about that because I have plenty of resources here. Okay, what did he do? He played c5. Okay, is he threatening c4? No, he's not. Okay, so let's see. If I play something like knight c4, he has a discovered attack. Knight f4 checks. I've got to step a little careful here. Let's see. If I play c4, he I don't want to play c4, that takes it from my knight. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to mess with his mind a little bit. I'm going to play rook h1. The point being here, if he takes my knight, then there could be a rook trade. Okay, so I'm kind of mess with his mind here with rook h1. It's not the greatest move. Maybe my rook d1 was an error, but that's all right. This guy's a decent player. We can see who can out-strategize the other. I'm nearly 4 minutes behind on time. That's what I get for blabbing my mouth. But I have more than enough time to play logical moves. So I've got some ideas here. And the main idea now is to be able to move my knight on d2. I'm going to redeploy that. Now, I may not want to take back on g5 with my pawn and just leave his rook bad since he hasn't castled. Okay, now he went back. Guess he's decided he's not going to get anywhere down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go attack him somewhere. Where am I going to attack him? I'm going to play bishop f4. Now he can go back to d3. Let's see. He's not doing anything I should worry about. So, like I say, I want to. Kind of hard to find exactly what I want to do here, but I'm going to find it. Bishop f4, knight d3, bishop e3. Make him find another move. Does he want to draw? It's kind of a peaceful solution to this, or do I want to try to redeploy something? Okay. Knight to b1 to a3 to b5. That's a long plan. Of course, if I let him take on f4, then I can take back with the g pawn and my king has g3 accessible, and I can start working on g4. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give up the bishop here. If it needs to happen, I don't mind it happening. I need to get my knight a better square c4, so if he goes back to d3, I'll just play knight c4 and let him take on f4. Okay, I got 6 minutes and 43 seconds left. So where's this going to go? Okay, he still hasn't castled, so his rooks aren't connected. I've got my rooks kind of in play, and rook h1 is kind of clever little move to make him consume some clock time. I don't necessarily want to take back on g5 with my pawn. Now if he doesn't play knight d3, I now have the option of redeploying my knight by way of f1 and e3. Well, he played there, so now I'm just going to do what I said I was going to do. He can, let's see, knight c4, he can take it and then play knight h5 and be on my pawn. And I don't have king g3. Let's see, where's this knight e3? Okay, knight here. Ah! Did I play a move? No, I didn't. Okay. Knight c4, knight takes, pawn takes, knight h5. Now he's threatening a check. Ouch, I can't do it. Okay, fine. I'm just going to come back and see what he wants to do. Does he want to repeat the position? I don't necessarily know I want to repeat the position too, but I'm down 5 minutes on the clock. The result of the game is not important. It's what can we show about a thought process. And I guess I've made a miscalculation here because I thought I could do something that I can't. But that's one of the advantages of playing a little slower, because I might rush into that move in the other situation. So on knight e4 again, I might play f5, although I don't really want to. The idea is I'm going to start undermining his knight on e5, because I'll be taking back, if he takes en passant, I'll be taking back with a knight and forcing him to make some exchanges. And he didn't do it. Okay, he played there. Now, again, as I said, it could be a bluff. I'm just going to take with the bishop. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the question to his knight. Okay. So, now there he played that move. I'm not too worried about that move. Okay, where's he going to go? It's not going to go anywhere I really need to worry about. So now I can play knight c4 with the idea of getting it to come over and attack on attack g4. Okay, I'm fine here. Five and a half minutes. Should be plenty of time. Okay, I don't mind that move so much. So here's what I'm going to do. If I put it on c1, he can take it, but he doesn't really gain anything, and I do. So if I put it on d2, it might get lost. I mean, not lost, it just might be loose is what I'm saying. And I could put it on e3, but that takes away from where I want my knight to go. So I don't mind so much if he trades it. He won't be able to enter on the 7th rank, and I'm going to be able to do the things that I want to do. So I'm putting it back on c1. Okay. So let's see. He castled. Okay, perfect. Now I play knight e3. Now he can play f5 here, but that's all right because I get some new targets. Okay, knight e3. If he plays f5, I can take, and like I say, I have some new targets. He would have a backward pawn on the open file, and that's what's going to happen. Okay, now where to put the knight? All right. I don't mind so much if he plays f4. I've got to make sure that I don't run into some trick with f4, f3. So The perfect move to frustrate him is f4 myself, because, I don't know, let's see, f4, takes en passant, I take with the king. My king's a little loose, g3 is a little loose. Then he gets a tempo with f4 himself, so got to watch out for some wholesale exchanges on f4, because there's a fork. So as long as my king doesn't interfere with the rook's protection as c1, I should be okay here. Let's see, d1. I can play rook d1 here, and if he plays f4, how about if I just do the logical king h2 here? It's not illogical, I'm just saying it unprotects f2, but my rook is covering that right at the moment. But it's just kind of a mysterious move. If he plays f4, I have knight takes g4, which I didn't have in the other position. Okay, so like I say, now I'm going to have to play a little quicker here, otherwise I'm going to lose this game on time. So let's see. Next objective is to get my knight to a better square so that I can redeploy the bishop. And like I say, I've left him with certain weakness in his position. e7 is a weak pawn, and I do have a pass pawn. Don't quite have the principle of two weaknesses in shape yet. But king h2, these are kind of these deep, subtle moves, getting the king just out of the way. It doesn't make sense in a way, but it does make sense because it takes away a lot of the things he would like to do. His knight forks on f4 are gone. And like I say, next move I'm planning knight c4, so maybe he'll try b5, but then I can play c4. And okay, so he did that. Okay, so now I'm gonna just go attack it. Knight c4. What am I missing? Okay, knight c4 threatens to take it. And also, I'm planning bishop g5, getting my bishop on a better square so my rook isn't tied down to guarding it, and take away some activity from him. So, let's see. Then I can, if I get the rook off the d-file, I can go chase his knight out of there, although it really doesn't have a lot of scope at the moment. It can always be guarded with pawn e4. Okay, where were we? Okay, he played e4. Now I do exactly what I want. Bishop g5. Let's get the bishop a little safer and take d8 from him so he can't necessarily double rooks easily. Okay. Okay, rook d5. Okay, I'm not too worried about that move. And now's the time to just go attack it again. And I'm going to then follow up with c4 and knight d5 and get my knight better posted. Now, he doesn't have a check, so I'm going to go pin that guy. I'm going to go pin his knight so it can't move. He doesn't have a check anymore. Then I can play c4 and not worry so much about knight b5 in reply. Okay, there's a method to my madness here. Now c4. Now I get knight d5 in, although he has guarded his rook, but I can turn double. Okay, now knight d5. Okay, now I've got a great knight. Now the next step is to improve the position of my bishop. I'm thinking c3 is a good square for it. I have 2 minutes and 18 seconds. I'm going to lose this on time if I'm not careful. You won't hate me if I don't say much. Or you want to see me lose? Oh, you're going to see me lose if I play enough of these. I don't care if I win or lose. I'm just here having fun and trying to show some strategies. Okay, so I've managed to do a little bit of remaneuvering with a bunch of moves. Now the next subtle trick I might do is put my king back on g2 since I've taken away a lot of his tactics. The idea of putting the king on g2 is it just frees my rook on e2. Okay, so he played in the corner and I'm playing there. Haha. Okay, so he had to guard against a little threat I had. Okay, now he wants to do that. Now, where's his knight going that I should worry about? Nowhere, right? So bishop d2. Now I'll keep the bishop pair, and I'm going to check him. If I don't check him, I'm going to at least pin the knight if it goes to d4. Okay, so it's pinned. Now what's he going to do? Okay, so now he's threatening my rook. Do I take his knight or do I move my rook? This may be a great position to come up and to sacrifice an exchange on him here in a second. Let's see. Could probably get away with that. Okay, I'll just play there. And I could play knight f3. I'm not too worried about that. But like I say, I could be sacrificing the exchange here and having a good compensation for it because of my wonderful minor pieces. So if he plays knight f3, I'm going to take on d3. So let's see what's it going to do. I'm probably going to shoot for that anyways. We'll see here in a moment. I may even take on d4 if I can, and then sack on d3. Might have been able to do that last move. I don't know. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's see. If I take on d4, he takes. I take on d3, then I'm going to be able to take on d4, and he's not penetrating. So exchange sack coming up, but I get two pawns for it. Unless I'm missing something. Okay, how's he going to guard d4? He isn't. Now I have a threat. Knight f4 check. Okay, so now the trick is to centralize my king. I want the king centralized, and I'm going to try to redeploy the rook.
Check.
Okay, where's it going to go? E1. Let's see. Let's go attack him. I want to play c3. Can play rook e1, but that's okay. I have 1 minute left. I'm going to have to play quick here. He's playing well. He's a good player. That's fine. My time advantage is a disadvantage. Okay, if he takes, I take. Let's see. 3. I wasn't attacking f5. What am I thinking of? Well, I am now. Okay, go ahead. Take the pass pawn. I'm going to do the same to you. Okay, he didn't want to take it. So let's see. King b2. He checks. I run away. Okay, 34 seconds. I'm going to lose this on time. Okay, I can't talk anymore.
Check. Check.
Oh, rats, drop my knight. Okay, where's the resign button on this thing? Don't know. I can't find the resign button. How do you resign? Maybe you type resign like at ICC. Where's the console? There it is. Resign. Okay, good game.
Game over.
There it is. Or no, I guess resign didn't do it. Dang it. Well, I don't care so much about the result. Definitely I had better there. I was sure I was out strategizing them the whole way. Just got myself in a little bit of a time squirm. Now how do you go over a game here? Let's see what we can do. It's my first time on this site. Well, not my first time on this site. It's just my first time I've tried to analyze a game. And I don't know where you back things up. What's IP stand for? Oh, it's just something, probably finger notes or something. What's down here? Here's an arrow. Hit it and see what happens. That doesn't do anything. It says I'm not playing a game. What's this button do? Just to promote a piece. Well, I'm not promoting a piece here, or promoting a pawn, so let's get rid of that window. I don't know how to use this interface. Maybe I need to get another one. That button doesn't do anything. Yeah, anyway, I'm not too worried about that. This is just an experiment to see how it goes. Clearly there's a lot of ideas, a lot of thought processes in there that are deep. What can beat you in a short time control is tactics, and here I just made a one mover. My exchange sacrifice was perfectly sound and logical. It probably didn't even have to do it, but I did it. So just ran out of time to try to evaluate, and it's a shame that good games have to be ruined by time, but this is the danger of blitz chess, and in effect 15-0 is an extended blitz game, but I'm just going to make fewer errors, and I can have plenty of time to at least coordinate a plan. So like I say, I don't mind if I lose these games. It's no big deal. So what? You lose a game. You're going to lose games no matter who you play and when you play. Okay. Now the question is, where do we go from here? Well, I'm going to come back and do this again. Hopefully I couldn't sit there and label, can it move A this, can it move B this, but I did consider several moves. I'm sure a lot of those moves were impulsive moves, but this was fresh chess. This is all live, this is all original. Everything that I thought of, I had to think of from scratch. I had to come up with those moves on the spot. Don't mind losing on time. I'll get better at this as I do more of it. And want to thank everybody for their time. I'll make up my mind if this is lesson 9 or not. I don't know yet. I got to figure it out. We got a number of things to do that are to help this venture that I'm coming up with to help you. Aside from the lessons, there's a wealth of other material. I have the games I'm doing for Team 45 League. I have these games I'll be playing and fix. I'm also planning to do some games with Chess 960. I prefer to call it Fischer Random Chess, but it seems like it's becoming known as Chess 960. I know there's an interest in this. I'm going to come back and try some games at a time control of 15 and 5. I want the increment on there because you end up spending a lot of time trying to sort your way through that. So I'm going to come back and play some of those. That'll be a new series I'll do. The advantage of Chess 960 is that there's no opening discussion whatsoever. The opening is tossed out the window and you're strategizing on move 1. And there's not a whole lot of discussion on Chess 960, so I'll come up and share what my thoughts on it are and how I approach certain positions. We'll get to that. This is all coming. I have plenty of time this summer, it looks like, and I'm going to do whatever I can to share as much as I know about chess and my thought process and go from there. Okay, so anyway, I want to thank everybody for their time and look forward to seeing all of you again real soon. Take care.